Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to take a look at the astrological energies from August 10th until the 17th as the sun continues to voyage through Leo and will interact with both Uranus and Saturn over this next week. We also have a very powerful and dynamic Aquarius Full Moon on August 11th, the same day that Venus enters Leo. Then we're also going to see Mars in Taurus interacting with Neptune and Pluto as he completes his time in Taurus before entering Gemini next week. So this is significant to call out because Mars in Taurus is making some things clearer to himself, meaning in your consciousness, in your world, in your life, this Mars in Taurus has been bringing your attention to how you're moving forward on what you truly want, what you need, and what you value. And then Mars enters Gemini on August 20th, where he stays until March 2023. So there are important energies this week. We're going to be talking about all of it in today's show. And as always, I hope that this podcast brings you some type of connection, message, understanding, or something that supports you and resonates with you on your journey now. For those who are new to this podcast, I have been doing it for over 10 years now. I have been practicing and studying astrology for over 30 years. And I approach astrology through the lens of our consciousness, spiritual growth, intuition, and the energetics that we're experiencing. So let's take a look at the energies of Sun in Leo this next week because it's a powerful energy that the Sun is both activating and transmuting. And the way I was seeing this visually is that the sun in Leo is very much connected to your solar plexus, your sense of self, what you have come to understand about who you are, your own unique gifts and abilities, your self-expression. Leo connects us with the courage to be ourselves, what it means to be confident in our own skin, to shine our light. And you could visualize it as shining the light of your solar plexus out into your aura, strengthening that energy field and activating it even more as the sun transits through Leo. The sun is going to make a square to Uranus in Taurus at 18 degrees on August 10th and 11th, and then we'll have an opposition to Saturn retrograde in Aquarius on August 14th, and that will happen at 21 degrees. The sun moves 1 degree a day, so it's fairly easy to track where it will be, especially in relation to other planets. But what I'm seeing here and what I'm feeling is that the sun in Leo is going to be very potent and active around August 10th until the 14th as it interacts with Uranus and Saturn. And how the energy was being shown to me, going back to that visualization of your solar plexus, is that the energy frequency of the solar plexus is shifting and changing. And I'm seeing it as these incoming downloads, these neutrinos and light codes and very active energy bursts from the sun are helping us refine our sense of self. And it looks like that beautiful, bright, golden yellow is shifting in color. And I'm actually seeing it becoming lighter and brighter, almost like it was a darker gold and now it's becoming more sparkly. It's like the energies are changing the color frequency of the solar plexus to be lighter. And I feel this too as clearing out more density that we've been holding in our solar plexus, in our sense of self, in even the masks or the things we've taken on that don't truly connect to our authentic nature. That is meant to clear away. And so with the sun in Leo, this is a very dynamic week because the interactions with Uranus and Saturn retrograde are actually bringing up energies from 2021 because now the sun is directly involved in the conversation of the Uranus-Saturn squares that we've experienced since 2021. And we had 3 of those interactions, and we are approaching a 4th interaction in October when both Uranus and Saturn will be retrograde at 18 degrees in their respective signs. So essentially think of it as Uranus and Saturn have had this very big pressure, tension, communication unfolding. And now here comes the sun in Leo this week. And it's almost like inserting in what you really want and what you really need. And I'm feeling this as being very honest with yourself around any parts of your energy, your sense of self, your personal power, your willpower, anything you have allowed to be tainted or contaminated or infiltrated by other people. So I am presenting this as something that maybe you unconsciously agreed to, or you thought you wanted, or you energetically participated in, or something that was certainly valuable. It was meant to bring you an understanding. It was meant to bring you information. There was something you were meant to experience and to move through. But now at this energy, in this place in our current experience, that's all changing. And it's changing in a way where there could be some very big realizations this week that you don't want something anymore. It's not you. It's no longer true for you. It no longer connects to the purity of your sense of self, of what matters. It also has perhaps a disconnect from the fullness of your heart, because Leo is also about the courage to love, the courage to receive and be loved, and what that means, what that looks like. And sometimes we can have built in a very strong ego or some kind of protection layer so that we don't have to be vulnerable or extend ourselves. We want to avoid any kind of rejection or anything else that basically takes away from feeling recognized and seen by others. And so that's where the Leo energy can disconnect from the heart and can basically grow and develop a very big ego to protect against that form of risk taking. Meaning when you don't want to risk being rejected or risk someone else saying they want something differently, there's something about the energy can shrink into itself. And I'm feeling this in the heart, although trust what you're feeling around it, whether that is the heart chakra or any other part of your energy systems. What this feels like is that we're coming back into the fullness of what we really want and need, and also honestly assessing what we had given away or perhaps overly compromised for the sake of others. So this is going to be a week of breakthroughs in your own consciousness, in your own sense of self, in what you really want, and where your energy has gone away from your true needs and where it needs to retract back into yourself, but also ensuring that it has a healthy connection to both your solar plexus and your heart chakra. So there's something here where those two energies need to be balanced, or else the Leo energy is not in its full strength. Again, that Leo energy, if it's too much in the solar plexus or too much in the lower ego expressions, then a false sense of self develops. And what this energy is revealing to us is where we've been disconnected in some regards and how we can basically connect it back in, including, again, the power and strength of the heart, of love, of what love really is for you, what it really means for you, and how maybe that has been shifting, changing, and evolving, especially throughout 2021. But I feel like there's something about this week that brings up the Leo energies even more, and those can be very healthy expressions of the energy, or, as with every astrological sign, there can be the lower expressions of it as well. The sun in Leo makes that exact square to Uranus in Taurus at 18 degrees on the same day as the Aquarius full moon. And what this is bringing to your attention, and I'm seeing it as basically electrical cords unplugging. And I'm seeing it between the chakras, specifically the heart and solar plexus. But again, trust whatever feels correct for you. I'm feeling this energy unplugging and also simultaneously realizations around where you need to plug in again or plug in more. So if something has been unplugged for you around your authenticity, around what you want, what you need, even around a definition of love, around what it means to be courageous, what it means to be you, what it means to fully show up in the world in your light. This is where you could have some realizations around maybe some choices, actions, behaviors, parts of your life, parts of your world that you now want to reconnect. You want to plug it back in. And by doing so, the energy looks different. It feels different. Again, it has that different shade of yellow to it. And the yellow energy is starting to feel clearer, purer, brighter. And that is something that we can intentionally work with to stand in our sense of self that has been deeply changing over recent years. There's something about this week where you could feel a new connection to parts of your own energy. And then at the same time, this energy is also about separations and disconnections. So I'm seeing it as maybe you're realizing where you need to unplug from one place and plug in to another. And that could be, again, energetically, or maybe it's something in your life where you realize you put too much energy into doing for others, into showing up for others, into being someone that others expect you to be, but it's not really your true self. Perhaps there are various patterns or cycles here around what you thought you had to do or how you thought you had to be seen in order to receive love. And that is one of the themes of Leo. It's actually one of the lower expressions as well, where there's parts of our conditioning that maybe taught us, I have to look a certain way, I have to be a certain way, I have to show up and fulfill this role in order to feel and receive love. And I think there's going to be some big realizations over this next week. And it could also relate again to 2021 themes, whether that is a relationship, a connection, an experience, a situation, something from last year that comes to your awareness and now becomes a teachable experience. Something that you've been through, you see it in a new way. You see yourself in a new way. And perhaps you're seeing yourself in an older version of you that you no longer fully identify with. But there's something here where we're meant to be very aware of our own energy, of what we really want and need, and how we have had multiple experiences in our lives that perhaps were not connected to the heart of our energy. And that would be another way to look at the Leo energy signature, is that it returns you to the heart of yourself, the heart of who you are. And I'm also seeing it as your heart light. And it could be that you're ready to turn on your heart light, or there's something awakening in you, busting through, breaking through, that you can't deny, that you're strongly feeling or sensing, and you don't want limitations around it anymore. So this is a very powerful energy, and I'm feeling it so strongly between August 10th until the 14th. And it's specifically working with degree points, we'll say between 18 to 22 degrees, especially of the fixed signs. These energies are also activating a fixed grand cross at those degree points. And so potentially 4 areas of your life, 4 parts of your astrology chart are feeling these transitions, revelations, refinement, release. This is a significant energy, and it is strongest around the Aquarius full moon, which we'll talk about here in a moment. And yet it continues on as the sun will oppose Saturn retrograde at 21 degrees of Aquarius on August 14th. So it feels like what is coming up for us are some core messages that we're really meant to tune into and hear, to understand more of your own truth right now that's deeply connected to those Leo energies of self, your heart, your core needs, what is correct for you energetically as it relates to your sense of self and what matters to you right now. Now, the Leo energies also deeply connect to not only how we experience love, how we feel and receive love, as well as how we offer and share love, but it also goes into what we enjoy, the playfulness of the inner child. It also amplifies where we find pleasure and what we're attracted to. So you could find yourself evolving to new things that you're attracted to energetically, physically, spiritually, or in any part of your energy. So this is a big energy. And again, 4 parts of your chart between 18 to 22 degrees are being amplified, and it's very revelatory. The opposition between the Sun and Saturn, however, often means a separation, something completing, a turning point, a breakup, something that is no longer in resonance. And there could be something here that is revealing to you parts of your own needs that you weren't in contact with before, that you weren't hearing or understanding or fully owning. Because I do feel like with this Leo energy signature, there is an ownership, a full ownership of your energy, of your heart, of your sense of self, of your personal power, and how you are moving through the world, owning that sense of self from a healthy place, from a healthy expression that allows you to feel good about who you are. And yet these energies, again, they're triggering parts of ourselves that we're meant to see. And this could be something that you experience through mirroring or projection from others. It could be something that comes up in a conversation or something that comes through that really asks you to be aware of it. The sun opposing Saturn retrograde can also feel like a standstill. It can feel like the energy stops and you're meant to carefully evaluate what you do want going forward, but to make those decisions from within yourself, because Saturn in Aquarius is connected to others, the world at large, the people you know. This also includes social media and the internet and information and other groups and basically the world at large. But this is a time to call the energy back into yourself. And again, I feel this beautiful golden orb of light evolving and refining itself. And you could be feeling that as well, that whatever is coming up for you, whatever is being triggered, there is a refinement here to bring you back into the heart of what you need and to own it from your heart space. So overall, it feels like a very beautiful energy. It's meant to expand. It's meant to eventually grow. But I feel like there's something so powerful about this week that's going to show you with clarity what you want, what you don't want, what you need, what you don't need, also what you love, what you don't love. And there can be breakups, relationship endings, things that are over, various connections or partnerships or interactions that are no longer at that same energetic frequency, that aren't connecting in a healthy, sustainable manner. And this can also show up when the energies are not balanced within, where if there is, say, a smaller heart space but a bigger ego, that is going to be part of the dynamic, and vice versa. If the heart is really big but the sense of self is smaller, that's also part of a dynamic that could show you what is not working for you, what's not in alignment, and what you're not wanting to continue to experience. These are very big energies. This is a powerful week of change. And again, the changes are happening in the fixed signs, which don't want change, which resist change, which hold on, don't let go. I'm not going to release my grasp on this. And yet that is exactly what is being shaken up and stirred up here. So there can be discomfort, there can be surprises, there can be the sense of no way, I never saw that coming. There can be things opening up here that we're meant to understand, but that might give you that jolt or that shock. And then you're meant to check in with yourself, check in with the truth of your own energy, and to accept what is completing, phasing out, and being released, because the universe is saying this is not needed going forward. Now, when I look at this lineup of energy, there is, of course, very strong changes in the Aquarius full moon energy signature. And I have a separate video for you on YouTube walking through that chart more specifically, as the Aquarius full moon on August 11th happens at 19 degrees of Aquarius, conjunct Saturn retrograde, and working with Uranus at 18 degrees, working with the North Node at 17 degrees of Taurus, which makes the South Node in Scorpio at 17 degrees, and then the Sun in Leo at 19 degrees. So this is that strong fixed grand cross energy that wants to latch on and ground in. But these are energies of big, significant changes. And I did touch on this in Monday's podcast. On Monday, August 8th, I talked about this energy and how it's going into our unconscious belief systems that are being strongly activated now. And I also feel that these belief systems originated in the age of Pisces. And as we move further into these age of Aquarius energies, which the full moon is further activating, there's a sense of tuning into your own knowingness, tuning into more of what is authentically you. And the Leo energy is asking you to take a risk on yourself. Take a risk on your authenticity. Take a risk on stepping into the fullness of your light, expanding that solar plexus and that heart chakra in the same manners so that they are in balance. They are in harmony, and they're also keeping you in a higher alignment with what you're naturally here to embody. Because I feel like part of this very strong Aquarius energy is connecting us to our natural state, our natural frequency states that we have covered up, that has been reprogrammed or highly conditioned, that's been an unconscious part of ourselves that we've carried for multiple lifetimes. And now we've been undoing, removing, letting go, healing, shadow work, all the things, right? All the things that have probably felt relentless, intense, never ending. But there is a reminder here that Aquarius takes you forward. Aquarius shows you what's on the horizon and asks us to connect the energies of this timeline to that timeline of what we perceive as the horizon or that perception of a future self. So there's something in alignment here where the universe is saying, understand the power of your own authentic energy. Understand the power of what you can co-create with the universe, which I feel is also another strong Aquarius theme of what are you committing to that is about your own higher path, connected to your higher vision of yourself in this lifetime and bringing it into this timeline. So there's this energy of understanding that, of course, our power is in the now. And that's the only thing that truly exists in the physical world. And we're bringing these energies into our current reality so that we can fully own them. But we're doing so with new levels of courage, self-confidence, and understanding of what you need and what you want. So it's almost like the energy looks like It could feel far away at times, but what I'm seeing is that it might be beneficial to do a visualization of some kind that brings whatever you're viewing, whether that is in the future, on the horizon, in another lifetime, or in another timeline, bring it into your solar plexus and into your heart at the same time. Bring it in and ground it in to your energy field right now. And I'm seeing these as light codes and different types of colors, like specks of colors. So again, trust whatever you're feeling, seeing, or sensing, because this is individual for all of us. But it's about working with these energies consciously so that what you're doing is activating more within you that is your natural frequency, your natural state of being, and removing the separation or the space in between. And I'm seeing it too as this roadway right in front of us, like right in front of you, there is a pathway. And what is on that path? Because I'm seeing a lot of people. It's almost like there could be a lot of people either creating congestion on the roadway or blocking the energy or filling up your energy to capacity, that it takes you away from seeing that vision or that understanding of what is truly you and what you want to do with the energies. Because I'm feeling this Saturn in Aquarius is very much the soul contracts we have with others. And the energies cross over from other lifetimes, other timelines, other dimensions, other realms. And there's parts of our energies that we can become disconnected from. And so it feels like this is a powerful Aquarius full moon to tap into your own knowingness, but to do so with an understanding that it's okay to go it alone as needed. Aquarius is independent and rebellious and isn't always looking for the group or the tribe. Although we can associate those keywords with Aquarius, the other expressions of Aquarius are very much about how you're fully equipped to handle life on your own terms. You have what you need to show up and live a life that is correct for you, especially when you know your own energy. And it feels like we've been becoming so much more aware of this, that it is rocking the boat. It is shaking things up. It is revealing more of what we don't want, what we don't need. But that could simply be a mental exercise at first, where you have the thoughts, you have the understanding, there's something that clicks, and you're like, okay, I get it. And now the universe is saying, well, now we're going to shift your physical reality based on these realizations you've already had. And I feel that because of Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, it's already covered this territory in your chart. So these could be realizations that you've been sitting with, you've been pondering, you're already aware of, and now there's a kaboom. Now there's a drastic change or something breaking through based on what you've already deeply connected with and what you already know about yourself. And keep in mind that this can certainly be something you're feeling from others as well, where others could be uncomfortable in your energy now. Other people may no longer be able to connect with you, or they might sense how you've changed, but how they've changed. So as I've been discussing how this energy is uncomfortable, you could be feeling that with some people. You could be feeling it, whether that's in person or otherwise, a sense of we're not really jiving here. And both people might feel it. And it could be something where if you have a soul contract with them that has been unfolding or playing out across multiple lifetimes, at the same time, there could be something in another lifetime where your relationship, your connection, your energy with them is ending in that lifetime, and now you're feeling it in this lifetime as well. But then I'm seeing, so fascinating, then I'm seeing the energy go into what we would call a future timeline. And it's almost like if you're both evolving or growing, or there's something between you that still isn't finished, Or if the energies are still meant to sync up, it's almost like they will in the future experience, in the next lifetime or timeline, even if it's not happening right now. So, of course, determine what resonates with you. But we know that energy is always in motion. It's always moving in some capacity. And that's what we're feeling not only within ourselves, but with others. So this strong breakup energy, this revelation, separation, I'm done, no more, I don't want this, no thank you, goodbye. As well as, by the way, you could have very surprising hellos. This is the energy of, oh my gosh, someone just walked in the door and they changed my life. Or wow, we just hired somebody brand new at work and they're amazing. Or wow, my sister just met this person and now she's changing her whole life. So these are also energies that can bring you a breakthrough of stagnation that feels good. This can be positive. This can be exciting. This can be something too where the universe delivers and it brings in something that manifests because of what you've already realized, because of what you've already shifted and changed. I mean, this is the energy of all of a sudden one thing develops and it shifts you in a dramatic way, or it brings up things that you're ready to let go of that you previously were not ready to let go of. So the energies will manifest and play out in any possible combinations and expressions, but there's big things here that are ultimately moving us forward. And we've been talking about that at length over the last few months because of Uranus conjunct the North Node. The North Node taking us into new places that we want, we need, we value. And this is a week where more of those messages are going to come forward. One more thing I want to say about this energy is that it is very big and intense, especially August 10th, 11th, 12th. And then when the sun opposes Saturn retrograde and that energy is at a standstill or a stop, there could be downtime where you just need to integrate. You just want to be alone. You just want to go do your own thing. Nobody bother me. Nobody talk to me. Let me figure this out. And that is part of the sun opposing Saturn, is that we just want time to ourselves and we don't want interference. So keep in mind that if you're needing that, be sure and state your boundaries accordingly and be sure and communicate it in a kind way, because that energy can be cold at times, but it's just meant to let people know you're taking time for yourself, maybe to sit with something, to figure it out, whatever it might be. But also what I'm seeing is that when we do that, your aura might be speaking to you in ways that you wouldn't normally feel or sense if other people are around. So it is very powerful to retreat into yourself and be in your own energy so that you can sense more of what your energy systems are saying to you and to receive it clearly. Now, after this very dynamic energy, we're going to have Mercury in Virgo trine Uranus in Taurus at 18 degrees on August 16th. And this is when there can be solutions, a new process, an idea, something comes through that might be very clear, practical, realistic. And typically, this is a yes energy. This is where the universe is giving you a solution or a pathway to make real, because it's happening in the earth signs and it's happening with Mercury in Virgo, which is about the details, particulars, and how we create what we need to create. So I feel like there will be solutions after this big energy period, and that alone could give you some grounding and some trust, as well as an understanding that the universe always delivers. It's not in our timeline, it's not always how we expect it or when we need it, but the universe always delivers and comes through with what we need to focus on next. Venus enters Leo on August 11th, and this is a placement that often fortifies the feminine spirit, where with Venus in Cancer, things could have felt more sensitive, emotional, private, almost like there's been things you've been figuring out from the past, because Venus in Cancer will energetically connect you to relationships from the past emotional experiences, also things with friendships, siblings, women which is Venus. And in Cancer, she is nostalgic and sentimental. So there could be things here that you've been working through in a private manner that have been emotional at times and maybe has shown you more of what you need to receive at a more intimate level or a private level, because Venus in Cancer is quite private. It's hidden. It's the things that we don't always openly share. But as Venus moves into Leo, she is now ready to be more bold, more demonstrative. She is feeling stronger in her heart space. So this feels good in terms of what we've been talking about around balancing the heart chakra with the solar plexus, where Venus in Leo adds strength to what you need, where it's easier to say, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is what feels good, and P.S., I'm worth it because I'm Venus in Leo. So there's a strengthening energy here that I feel is going to make it easier for us to understand what really matters, what we enjoy, what brings us to life, what feels good, and also it strengthens what maybe felt weaker in previous weeks. So look at that in yourself, see what shifts occur. Also see what energy is changing for you in your heart space, because this is something that's being reprogrammed, rewired, but I see it as a grid in the heart. Oh, it's so funny. Then I just heard Mercury in Virgo say it's an Excel document. Mercury in Virgo loves a good Excel document with some awesome formulas. But I'm seeing it as a grid here, not an Excel document in the heart, but a grid that is coming to life. And there could be openings. And I'm also seeing it as these new specks of light in the heart grid, in the heart space, where even blasts of light, because Venus wants to support. Venus wants you to feel good about who you are, especially in Leo. She wants to give you a very strong sense of self and help you see that you're worthy of being loved. You're worthy of even declaring or stating what you need. And maybe there are some instances where you'll be able to communicate what you need, what you want in a manner that is even new for you or just feels much clearer. So that's really a lovely shift here for Venus as she moves into Leo, and she's going to stay there until September 5th. Now we also have Mars in Taurus completing his journey through the second sign of the zodiac. And Mars is not really comfortable in Taurus. Taurus slows him down and he has to pace his energy accordingly to get where he wants to go. And Mars in Taurus has been connecting us with what we want that relates to how we're living our life. And this is always a practical energy in Taurus, but it's been very active, as we've discussed, since Mars was conjunct the North Node, conjunct Uranus, opposed the South Node, made a square to Saturn. And over this next week, the Mars in Taurus will sextile Neptune and Pisces at 24 degrees on August 11th, and then make a trine to Pluto retrograde in Capricorn at 26 degrees on August 14th. Mars in Taurus is very determined and simplifies, wants things to be clear and easy, and also will focus on the best. So I feel like there's something here where we're getting a bigger understanding of what we really desire in our lives on a daily basis that is important, that has meaning, and also brings us into contact with how we've built our lives up to this point and what needs to shift and change. And because Taurus is practical, this could be a simple evaluation of your finances, where you go through a bank statement and look at, where have I been spending too much money? Where am I wasting money every month? Do I need all these subscription services? Do I need to put money into this instead of that? So there is this sense of, how am I using my money, my finances to create the life I want? I also feel like this Mars in Taurus wants us to connect to peace on a regular basis, wants us to find harmony, a peacefulness, and ease, even amongst all of the chaos and turmoil that the world is experiencing, as well as what's being triggered in some other areas of our lives. There is a groundedness here where Mars in Taurus can't be rocked, can't be swayed, can't be moved off its course. And so during this transiting energy, we've had the ability to gain strength in what is true for us. And the connections to Neptune and Pluto are always evolutionary. Neptune and Pluto being the furthest planets from the Earth and also being the furthest out in our solar system means that Mars is connecting with a higher consciousness here that supports what he's been deciding or even what he's been realizing. And because Mars is about action, now there's this energy of what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do to make this real? The sextile to Neptune will connect to more inspirations and potentials, as well as a new understanding of what your higher self envisions and what you want to bring down into your reality. Then the trine to Pluto often is quite powerful. There is a very strong desire to do what you want to do, to go for what you want to go for, to put something into action, to commit, to make it real. And that is a wonderful energy for this Mars to connect with on August 14th, as he will enter Gemini on August 20th. So this is really the last powerful connection that Mars is going to have in the Earth signs for a number of months, actually for almost a year, until July 2023 when he will enter Virgo. So Mars in these Earth signs affects our physical reality and our body. What has your body been saying to you? How has your body been giving you information and messages that are important? And this feels like a time to make powerful changes. And that would basically be the theme of this week, is that we're being required to, ready or not, but there's something here where these can be wonderful changes that pay off for the long term, that take you further than where you thought you could go. So harness this energy accordingly. Work with it as it's being revealed to you, and allow it to support what you're experiencing in the real world, meaning anything in your environment, anything that is ready to be switched up. This is going to be the week where it comes to your awareness. In fact, it could feel like there's a lot that comes to your awareness over this next week. It could feel like, wow, dang, oh my goodness, I didn't see that. Okay, got it. I mean, it could feel like you're just almost being clobbered with some of these realizations, but it's meant to support you. And the universe is basically delivering all of this at once, and it feels like a kapow. It feels like we've been moving through that, I know, but this feels like there's something pivotal here that we're ready for, and you can't deny it. Almost like there's something you can't deny to yourself, and that alone can be a powerful validation of what is correct for you going forward. We've been talking a lot about the fixed signs and how the fixed signs are evolving, they're transforming. 4 parts of your life are being called to your attention, and that's why it can feel overwhelming and feel like it's a lot. And yet, as we move into the next half of August, the energy switches into the mutable signs, and that's when we have Mars entering Gemini, the Sun entering Virgo alongside Mercury in Virgo. So we move into these adaptable, mutable signs that help us figure it out. So if you're feeling that tension and pressure right now, if it just feels like the energy is really tight, or you're at a standstill, or again, it's overwhelming, know that as we move into Virgo season, we're going to open up to new solutions. The energy will lighten and loosen, and we'll be more flexible, more adaptable, more willing to give it a try, or say, sure, why not? Let's just see how it goes. Let's just see what happens. And with Mars entering Gemini, which we'll talk about more next Wednesday, we will start to be presented with new choices, new information, new opportunities, new possibilities to choose or decide between. And we will have the ability to go back and forth between different experiments, if you will, different ways of understanding or working with choices choices. So the energy is going to lighten up a bit, but right now the intensity is real, the tension and pressure is real, and that is a gift. That is the universe bringing your attention to things you need to see, something to be aware of, messages and information that are very important right now, and we're not meant to miss it. So again, big changes unfolding, breakthroughs, revelations, higher understandings, new life choices, new understandings of yourself, all kinds of things are strongly activated. And you can choose to believe that these are all gifts from the universe. These are all helping you continue forward in the best possible way, even if you can't fully see it just yet. And again, I do recommend checking out the Aquarius Full Moon video that I have for you on YouTube, as that might also help explain what you're feeling or what you are experiencing in your own world at this time. In the Wednesday podcast, I talk about the transiting energies of this week. That's what we're looking at, is where the planets are currently moving through and how they are essentially communicating and talking to each other. And if you want to learn more about this in your own chart, where you want to see how these transiting energies are working with you more personally, I do have an online course for you that teaches you that. We go through each of the transiting planets. We look at what they bring up, what they activate, their themes, their intentions, and their cycles, because every planet moves at its own speed. So please check out that course. I'll put the link below this podcast. I do have it at 50% off right now with coupon code TRANSITS. And this is how you can see what's happening for you more personally. You can see where Saturn is moving through your chart, if it's working with any of your natal planets. Same with Uranus, same with the North Node, the South Node, every planet and point. So be sure and check that out if you want to learn more about astrology, expand your own knowledge, as well as get an idea of what is happening for you, which is some of the best gold in astrology and often what people want to know. You want to have a heads up. Tell me what's going on, or tell me what parts of my life are going to be the biggest here in the next few months. And that's what the transiting planets reveal. So check out that course, dive in, get into it, understand it for yourself, and it's going to open up this huge new world of astrology for you. Now, I'm going to be traveling over this weekend, and I won't have a new podcast for you on Monday, but I am going to share publicly one of the messages from the Galactic Center, one of the messages that I feel would be empowering and important to connect with or understand. So I'll be posting that on Monday, August 15th. And then I'll be back with another podcast episode for you on Wednesday, August 17th, where we will continue our ongoing conversation on these energies that certainly won't let us sit still and are definitely keeping us on our toes. You can find out more about me over at mollymccord.online. And I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. As always, thank you so much for joining me here. I really appreciate your energy, your time, and your presence. And I'll look forward to connecting with you again very soon. Take good care, and I'll see you back here next Wednesday.